Okay, so I'm gonna do a general update. Spent a good amount of time today just rebuilding stuff I've already built in the past. Um, my package info list of installed apps that I have in the system right now is 1066. There's a few that you can't install because there's package conflicts. At least I know that in the archivist drive. There's about 3 or 4 of them. But I also had a breakthrough, so it's another reason why I'm kind of letting things set, and then I'll talk about the things that I'm being held up on. I've already talked about some general things that are system related. So, like, if I were to go back and those videos were just for me to say, okay, well, if Haiku wants more apps, in general, it's missing headers. In general, there's I don't know what the ratio is, but there's some definite porting that requires programming skills that I don't have to finish. A good 20%, something like that. And this is with the new stuff. And then I was looking at the library X11. I was trying to figure out, I started on a video this morning, and I abandoned it because after a while I was just sitting there doing nothing, talking about nothing, just trying different things. Basically, what I did this morning was I thought to myself, okay, I'm going to try to reproduce, his last name is Volterra, Michael Volterra's library X11 that I downloaded. The compile date's got sometime in 2010. It's 1.08. He's got a recipe. He contributed a recipe. It's over one of these. There's so many different websites, Hike Reports, Hike Files, but it's up there. And I tried to follow the recipe in the current environment that I have. And no matter what I do, whether I revert back to an earlier package or not, I end up getting to the point where it's there's an error with that same file that I had, and I get to the same lines, and what it's saying is that the code that's being used for that one file is in the source directory. Let me see if I can go over there. There's literally just one line of code that would prevent someone from compiling library X11. I deleted those lines so it compiled for me. Then when I got to try to do library XV, and those lines of codes are about the user ID and password storage. So I wasn't very uncomfortable deleting those lines. I mean, we don't use passwords, right? Now, if a program wants, the only thing is there is a technical reason to have the password functionality. If a program requires password functionality to run, then we got to give them some fake stuff so it'll run, you know what I mean? But besides that, it shouldn't have an effect. So, but the one, so there's just one. What the hell is it called? It's called getdflt.c. This code, and it's down here. I don't know if this is my modified version or not. I think it is. It's not the original version. This is how mine turns out at the end. I basically just chopped off, some code. Doesn't work for me. about 10 lines of stuff, okay? That's the one file that stops anybody from compiling the latest version of Library X11. Why do you want a later version of Library X11? Because maybe you want to use something newer than Firefox 2 or 3. Meanwhile, the recipe is still broken in Haiku Porter. You can do everything but Library X11. Even when you follow the steps that are in the recipe for that's in Haiku Porter and apply the patch to configure AC, it won't even configure. I've gotten to the point where I know what configure line options I need to pass to get it to configure and to compile, with the exception of that one file. And of course, you can call my deleting those lines a patch, or you can say it's a hack, but whatever. When I make that hack or patch, it compiles. It's done. It works. Well, I guess it works. I would assume it works. Who knows if the error I'm having with Library XV is related to that or at all. I was reading on the Linux mailing list, and there's a header that comes with the X proto program. It's called XOR_H or something like that. It's the only header with an underscore in the X proto package. And there's a place that there's something about safety Unix threads or something like that, and you can add Haiku to that, but that didn't solve it either. I saw that on a Minix mailing list. So kids were having an error with the same file, not the same lines. So I don't know what to conclude about that X11 pack. It was, is there a patch that was lost? Because I'm having the same error. Even if I revert back to Library X11 1.0, I think it's 1.3. I think it's 1.08. It's the earlier version that was out around 2010. To 1.16 that I'm doing now. Same exact error that comes up in my environment. So I don't know. When Michael Viotiero compiled it, maybe he didn't need any patches. So I was trying to figure out what changed. He just had a recipe, right? And he's got a lot of patches, so why would he just happen to forget the patch? I don't think he forgot the patch for Library X11, so I think something changed about the environment. I was trying to look at it, and Alpha 1 came out in 2009. He releases code in 2010, and I looked at the patches, and basically the error is directly related to a header. But the header's not wrong. It's not. It couldn't be. I even tested that. I tested everything I could. I was hoping to find out. I even went so far as to get an old BEOS header and put it in place of, it's called pwd.h, that header. It'll come up in the error. It'll say that the header defines these variables this way. You don't have enough arguments. I don't know how to add an argument. Just don't know how to do it, or what that argument would be. So I learned a little bit more, but not enough. I tried deleting the lines that for the first patch that Ingo did. No difference. Then I said, okay, I'm just going to use the BEOS header. Maybe this guy compiled this Library X11 in 2010, but with BEOS. Same error. What the heck's going on here? Same compiler, same source code. The only other thing I could do is put a Linux header in there and see if it compile. Which probably won't work. I'm just trying to figure out what the issue is. But it's down to literally three or four lines of code, right where the error comes up. I've already shared I have on video what what compile options I use, but let's read it. Once again, I get, because someone else wants to know. Call it the X11 magic incantation. Maybe I got it over. I'm getting a little sick too. I'm getting a little tired, but let's see. Man, I get so many notes. It's outrageous. I even had made a patch. Actually, where the hell? Let me put this in order here. Maybe did I not upload that patch? This is the patch. Well, the hack. Right here. This is what I did. So this is for the, it's in the source directory. It's get dflt. Okay. And what I ended up doing was just removing these lines. And I guess I carelessly put a little space. That shouldn't have changed, right? I carelessly put a little space there. But I just got rid of this stuff. What's going on here is that what the compile error was saying was this code right here doesn't have enough arguments. I tried all sorts of things. I tried putting little parentheses around this PTR. I don't know what any of this stuff means or why it would be the way it is. All I know is it compiled without that stuff, and I know this. I got the general idea this has to do with passwords and lengths of passwords, and I'm not using a password. Now, whether this is affecting, whether if I'd fix this properly, would library XV compile for me? I don't know. So I actually ended up using Michael Verdier's library XV, and I realized that it was saying, and I remembered that I was able to make a common directory, and then when I tried to do a link for library XAU, or when the compiler tried to link library XAU, it said, well, library XV is not present in boot common library. So I just put the folder there. This whole library X11 pack, but it only linked up to that one. It's an older version, but it's not out of range for what's acceptable, and it linked and it worked. So I got library XAU. So now, what's my general stat? When I'm doing these runs again, right now my general status is this: any program that requires sound integration, I'm getting no detection whatsoever. The second problem I'm having is that I really have to. I've got two installations of Python in here. I got Python 27, Python 34, and for some damn reason, there's an incompatibility for some of the programs with the newer versions of Python, so it reverts down to Python 27. And so I've got Python 34, this C element tree module installed. But then when this other program needs Python 27 because, the Python 34 is marked as incompatible, and it also needs the PYC element tree, it tries to build the PYC element tree. And then the linker fails because it doesn't have library network in there. So I have to actually deal with that. Even with all the live network tricks that I have, I still have to deal with that one. Okay, so that's coming up a lot, enough that where it's noticeable. The sound issues are coming up a lot where that's noticeable. Some of these packages, you can't use because, I was looking at the fonts directory. Since Acrobat isn't available for Haiku, I can't use the Acrobat fonts, there's some Python modules that don't have. I'm probably just gonna have to find that header and put it in the place where all these modules are looking for it, which is probably gonna be two different places, which is a little bit odd, but that's okay. I made the user directory, but at this stage I'm so far past the Python thing. And for a while there I was thinking, I don't want to redo the Python in both of them, And then I tried to start making some patches. I made this thing, I'm thinking, is this really a patch? I mean, all I've really done is delete some lines I don't even understand. I mean, is that really a patch? So something I want to submit, what if it's wrong? Someone else look at it and say, oh, you can fix it this other way. If they want to do that, this is major. I mean, library X11 is major. So if they want to do, but it's down to this. I mean, literally, it's down to this area. It'll compile when this stuff is gone. I could at least come up with that answer, right? So if someone knows what this stuff means, I mean, there's hieroglyphics to me. You can compare it to the pwd.h header. I think it's in POSIX. Maybe someone will know right away. Oh yeah, of course. Well, yeah, look at this. It's got these. They'll know. Someone will know. Knows how to program. Just say, oh, just do this. It's probably putting a little asterisk somewhere. I mean, it's probably something ridiculous. This costs a lot of time. And then if it's gonna cause, I would like if fixing this the right way. I don't even know if this could be the right way, but if it's the wrong way, and fixing it the right way will allow library XDV to compile everything I got in here. I've compiled on my own. Now I was looking at some of the changes that I had, and some of these things are just the way they're done in order. I mean, like on Python there, the test Unicode is generated. It's the strangest thing. It's generated by Python. So I don't know what to change to stop that thing from being generated. And it's generated after the configure stage. So that's why I had to go in and edit it at the right time. Get rid of those lines with the ends and the new line. Some about the new lines aren't supported. And then I'm stuck at the Mesa library. That keeps coming up. There's always a few cardinal, And what it's trying to do is the version that's in package source at least, and it looks like it's like version 7 something and 10 something is out, But I don't know. Maybe I'm looking at the wrong Mesa. There's a Mesa Glut. There's a Mesa Live. There's all sorts of options it seems with this thing. But when it tries to, the hard link override isn't working because, from what I gathered, there's some stage, and I can't tell whether it's package source or the Mesa libraries, that it uses tar to unzip the archive, the zip file that gets downloaded. And what I may have to end up doing is extracting this thing in Linux. And then I don't know how I'm going to get it back into Haiku, because the only way I can get things in and out of here is by, I don't have a network connection from Haiku. All I have is FTP. I don't want to have to set up an NFS share just to get something in here. And no, USB stick's not going to work. It hasn't worked at all. USB sticks haven't worked at all in VirtualBox. And the guest editions I have installed with Haiku Porter on my laptop, and I got to check to see whether I need to do the guest editions so I can get a USB stick, so I can unzip the Mesa stuff, go and tell package source that the extract portion is done, and move on. I can't anyway. So if I can get it unzipped, I may have a chance to get that compiled. That's coming up a lot. So, but the numbers now, I'm getting to the point where it's like, wow, I'm having a lot of success here. I don't have completely up to date in the ones that I'm focusing on. There's a lot of categories I haven't gone through yet. So I mean, just let's go back in here. Right now I'm doing a run. This isn't really complete actually, but I'm doing a run through with the games and the converters. This thing's taking forever. I don't know what this thing is. And I've put my finished packages in each one of these. Oh, there's flight gear. Okay, so woo, it's that's a big target zip. It keeps growing, huh? Just landed. So let's go through some of these categories, I guess. Archivers, this is about as good as it's going to get for me unless I do some serious porting. And we get 62 out of 104. Alright. That could be installed somewhere. Audio, nothing. I was saying nothing. I can't even do SDL. I don't know what's going on. Don't know why. Maybe it's because I don't have the guest editions in here. That'd be good to do. Benchmarks, got 19 out of 44. Almost half. And I probably can get some more now because some of these, if I went through again, I get maybe 2 or 3 more. Because now I have Library XCV. For biology, got 16 out of 35. I just did CAD, and I think CAD's going to be a little bigger now. 15, what is it, 15? Got a couple more. Not the best. It's got a lot of X11 stuff in here, and if you don't have everything for X11, forget it. Just Mesa Library, Mesa Library, Mesa Library, Mesa Library. Chat, I haven't really tried it all. Comms. Converters, I am working through now. Databases, still, I haven't really worked through. Devel, I got redo. Editors, no. Fonts, I worked through. They're still at 229. Still about 70%. Again, that's a little bit high and unrepresentative because, of course, how big is this flight gear data? Wow. 500 megabytes, almost. I'm just going to get up to a gigabyte of data. That's just data. That's not even for the program. Okay. Some of these packages are just half, just the documentation, but not the actual program. Or just the plug-in, and not, I have levels of Doom, but no Doom. X11's probably gone up a little bit. So that's kind of what I'm looking at here. And some of these I don't have all the packages in yet because I'm not exactly ready to. Okay, so it thinks it's done with the flight gear data. Let's just move that up again. I have to manually move these, of course. So, but tomorrow when I come in, there'll be some more stuff there. I just got to figure out: is it a game? Is it a converter, or is it some dependency? In the right place, basically. So now I can just look at this and say, okay, these are my stats instead of having stacks of papers and checking things off. Oh, I haven't done that yet. So it's kind of like as the dependencies roll away. But see, now I've got a situation where mostly math library is not, for the most part, the math library is not an issue. For the most part, the network library is not an issue. For the most part, the hard links aren't an issue. But they're still, now they're just roadblocks because I've gotten to the, so now I got to deal with the hard links in the Mesa library. I have to deal with library network for Python 27C element tree module. And then I'll get some more, and I'll get some more success. But the other little tedious things, not a big deal. I'm not in a situation where I have to do a lot of compile line options. I got a lot of those just in there. In fact, here's it's going to say right here the hard links with the Mesa stuff. So I got to figure out what's in. And none of the recipe. I didn't looked at the recipes. I'm not seeing that the recipes are dealing with this. Now, in truth, the recipes and the patches, they're a lot of them over there at Haikulight are pretty old. Although I will admit this Mesa version 7.11, if I was just able to use a newer version, I probably wouldn't have this issue. They fixed it. This was some kind of bug. I don't know why packs are stuck with that. So maybe I could try to incrementally go. If I try something a little bit newer, but not up to 10.2 or 10.0 or something like that, I'll be okay. I don't know why they have it so low here, but apparently it's good enough. What really bugs me though is sometimes these damn things, like, for some reason some of these programs are marked Did I just compile GCC 4.8? Oh no, that's the boost libraries. I was just gonna say, I don't need to compile GCC 4.8. I got one of those. So I did. Okay, anyway, so some things just happen. Like, oh yeah, what? I ported that, you know, because of the way it's set up. I've got things to do things for me, and that's the way you really want it. Not you do want to keep track of the patches, but it should be more of a more trivia than actual work, in my opinion. So Lib ABW. I don't know what it's trying to do here in the converters, but I'm probably going to get some better stuff. And sometimes the dependencies, it's good, you know, it'll just build those. But not Mesa, at least not yet. So that's kind of where I'm at. And there'll be some other roadblock if I get past that, you know. I'm sure, what is it? What's that other thing called? It starts with a P. It's not Pulse Audio. It's some other thing. It's a part of every X11 program wants this thing. PO or something, whatever. So that's basically where I'm at. Some slowly. Right now, I want to get to a point. I hope to get to a point where I got everything I can get compiled. So now I have it set up like this. All of my packages are, once I get through with the converters, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to make clean. So, but I'm still have my packages, right? And I'm going to move this boost libraries, I guess. What is it? I don't even know what category that's supposed to be for. I think it's development. Yeah, development. So I've made some, but I have in the development category, I've got like around 180 packages made. A lot of them have P5s in front of it. You know, I don't think I have like every GCC that was ever released built. It's not like that. I don't even have Clang. And I had the use of diagram patches. I just, for some reason, either they didn't apply or there's something going on where it isn't working anymore. Maybe the patches are a little bit older. I'm not sure, so I got to look at it. But I'm just glad this is able to do a lot of work just on its own. What's being installed now? And I'm getting a few new things here and there, so the numbers are kind of growing a little bit here and there. You know, after you satisfy a dependency, a few more things will build, but then some will just, oh, that's one more dependency, but you got all these. You know? So another game. So anyway, games right there. So what is, yeah, I'm probably about 10% now. No. That mean I'd have 1,179. No, I am 100 away from, and I'm rebuilding some stuff too. So I don't think I'm going to get 100 additional packages out of this. Well, after I do my final run, I probably will, actually. But then I just got to figure out how I'm going to get through. I know I can get through the Python C element tree thing. I know I could do that. I probably have a reasonable chance to do the Mesa. So I just actually want to get to the point where things are just, I don't have to do anything. It just works. I'm not there yet, and I think there's a lot still that I have to do to get to anything close to Firefox or a browser or something I'd want to use. We're just, the X11 still isn't completely built. It's good. Pango is that thing. It's going to want Mesa. It's going to want Pango, you know. So, you know, until I get those things built, and I don't know how much. I got a bunch of these LiveX whatever's built. These are the newer ones, but I had some other ones already, and you know, they're going to get bigger. There's going to be more stuff. Here's kind of look at my list here. There's some library X whatevers and all these. So hopefully I'll, you know, and so we'll see how it goes. I have not had success with CMake. I think I've maybe library XT. No. SDL. I have nothing. I have no sound. SDL will not build. So so my to-do list: get Mesa built. Manually intervene on the Python 27 to get it to link to the network library, and get the VirtualBox guest editions installed. And the only way you can do that is through Haiku Porter, as far as I know, at least now. Maybe I'll make a package source thing for it, or maybe not. But that's it. So I'm done for now. Here's the header that is pwd.h. This one. Okay, open up. Yeah. This is actually the BEOS's header, and when I use that instead of the one that Axel and Mingo wrote, except for a few commas that Matt and Scott McCorder added and removed, and dates. The errors are still exactly the same, whether I use B Incorporated's header or Axel and Ingo's. Haiku Inc.'s. So, it's not the header. And since it's not the header's been the same, and I'm using the same source code, same compiler, could it actually be the errors coming up because it would do better in GCC2? It might be that. Don't know why, but it might. But if that isn't the answer, then in fact, you know, the recipe was only for it said it was only for GCC4. So on one of those things, I remember that. I don't know why. There must have been a patch that this guy did to the file called that Michael Volterra did, and he lost it, or it got lost, got deleted accident or something, because it would have built. Because I tried to redo the same errors. It's the same patch. The real patch, not my hack. Now they might be one and the same. I don't know. It could be coincidentally I did the right thing. Yeah. So that's where I'm at, And so I'm getting there, but I'm cheating right now. And the cheat is that I've used Mike's LibXV, because it won't build, and I don't know what to do about it. I don't even know what to hack out of it. It won't build. There's just one file, and it seems to be complaining about the same kind of password structure stuff. I just don't know what to remove. So I have an older mislabeled version of library XT in my system that's doing the job of that linked up with the next library that allowed me to go on. Alright, so that's it. And we'll see how things go in the future. I might be dead sick. I might take a week off. I don't know. Suddenly I'd feel sick. But, done. Where is it? Journey through time. The Haiku Zone.